Okay, so this video is just to kind of highlight the topics that are going to be on the Chapter 1 summative examination that you guys will be having for AP Calculus. So we just wanted to kind of list out the things that you should be able to do, the topics that will be covered. So again, we were looking in this section on limits, the introduction to calculus. So first off, you want to know what is a limit. So definition, okay, of a limit. So remember, it is what a function is approaching as we arbitrarily get closer to a particular value of x or our independent variable. So know what the definition is. Then talking about the notation. Okay, so in your homeworks and when you're writing limits and you're solving limits, making sure that you don't make mistakes like this. This would be something that is incorrect because there's no function written here or expression in terms of x. So making sure that we are doing our limit notations correctly, looking out for linkage errors. So like if I'm solving and going through the process of finding a limit, that, you know, when I say something's equal to something else, that it is making that logical sense from line to line. Also, and this links back to definition of remembering how we determine if limits exist. So let me actually put that here. So existence of limits. So specifically, if we're going to say it's DNE, that we show why is it DNE. So the left side has to equal to the right side. So notation also too, when we denote that, so a minus, limit x approaches a plus, what do those mean? So I'm coming from the right, I'm coming from the left, do they equal to each other, so forth. So those are the things to look out for in terms of notation. So let me put the little plus there. All right, then how do we actually find the limit? Okay, so finding limits. So this is the more mechanical process. So remember the three ways of finding the limit. So using tables, this is the numerical method. So okay, we're arbitrarily getting closer and closer to our value of interest. I could solve limits graphically. So if I'm able to have an equation that I can graph, I can look at the graph and be able to quickly determine maybe what the limit is. And then finally was analytically. So using algebra to simplify expressions, maybe remove some discontinuities that are causing issues. So in the OneNote, remember I had put, and I'll put a little kind of asterisk here to just remind you, remember that I had in the OneNote the limits flowchart. Then you may want to reference, okay, and helping you to decide, okay, well, I get this result, what do I do now? You know, and the different scenarios, like if I get that it was an indeterminate form, what do I do then? If it was undefined, what do I write then, etc. So finding limits. Then we talked about continuity. So this was assignment number 4. And again, I'm going to make a little note here because we did have the notes that kind of guide you through the definition of continuity. So what does it mean when we say that something is continuous? So you should know that definition of continuity down cold. It's those 3 components that we need to know in order to prove, and that's the skill you should be able to do, prove a function is or isn't continuous. So using the definition to go through that proof to tell us whether or not a function is continuous. And finally, which was the last part, which was our theorems. Okay, so we covered two theorems specifically, so IVT and EVT. So you need to know, obviously, conditions for use, because you might get some functions where you cannot apply these theorems, so you need to say why they cannot be applied. And if you can apply the theorem, you still have to show why you can apply the theorem. So we have to go and show the conditions were met or were not met. And then finally, so then what does it guarantee? Okay, so yeah, I can use this theorem. What does it guarantee? All right, so this is really what we saw in this first chapter. So again, things to kind of, how can I review for this? So I put up a few things for you to kind of do. One, obviously, go back, look at my videos. Okay, you also now have the AP Dailies. I would recommend, if you've been a big fan of my stuff, you've probably already seen all of these. So if you have not, go and check out those AP Dailies. And it'll provide you with a different perspective. Sometimes it might be exactly the same thing that I said, just another person saying it. But sometimes it just helps to have that other person saying it. And it just kind of, solidifies the point. So if you haven't checked out the AP Dailies, this is again on AP Classroom. Check it out. And it's broken down, more, I want to say it's broken down into even finer categories in this. Here it's a little bit more chunkier that I've written here on the side, but like if you're specifically having problems with, let's say, solving limits analytically, it's chopped down even finer in AP Classroom. So you'll see those daily videos there on the side. And again, obviously my videos, if you want to go back and review. Also, go back and look at your previous homeworks. Okay, I've commented on those. Also your assessments. Oops. And also your assessment that we've already taken as well. So if you made mistakes on the assessments, go back. Hopefully you've understood where you made the mistakes and why. Make sure to ask, which then brings up the last thing. There is also the tutoring. So making sure, okay, so Mondays and Wednesdays, again, I'm here present after, I want to say after school, but after classes. Just email me so I know to be expecting you after classes. Tuesdays and Thursdays is online only, meaning you email me your questions and I will record a video, so it will not be live. So maybe that'll be a better way to kind of do that. So this is live, not live. So this will be a recorded video. So those are probably your best ways of kind of going back and reviewing the stuff. Forgot to add one more thing, sorry. You should kind of shoehorn it in here. Also AP Classroom. So I did already put up in AP Classroom the it's a progress check on limits, and it's all multiple choice, but at least it gives you some exposure to other ways to see the same types of questions. So definitely make sure that you've done those progress checks, and if you have questions on those, you can also ask those during tutoring as well. Okay, so this is again just a kind of like a little brief overview of what you should be able to do for chapter 1. Again, if you have any questions, send them my way, send me an email. Again, if you found this useful, kind of as a quick little summary of what you should be expecting to see for exams, again, hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as always, and I will see you guys in the next instructional video.